all diseases associated with alcohol actually reduce. And perhaps the best place to start this conversation, Ogot, is to understand the concept of this month and how it came about for you to push and to have this at the forefront of one of the celebratory events in Kenya.
Okay. Basically, way back in 2003, other countries have a day or a week or a month where specifically on alcohol, not other drugs. So it can be on alcohol as the substance itself, or effects, or alcoholism, whatever, but basically around alcohol. So I did quite a number of articles and TV programs and radio programs, mooting that, the people in charge, NACADA, Ministry of Health, etc., should come together and do this, because what I was looking, I had just left rehab like 2 years or 3 years before. So I was seeing this is something which needs actually government, because of, the funding and, the reach and, just the logistics. So nothing happened. So I kept writing more articles and whatever. So at one point I now said, okay, I picked October. So I said I'm going to wear T-shirts.
Why October?
October, because at this time there was Oktoberfest, which was a celebration of beer and beer drinking in Germany. So it was a whole month of crazy beer drinking, events around beer, celebrating beer and so on. We didn't have it at that time in Kenya. It has since landed in Kenya. So I picked October, the Oktoberfest, and then also October is when people are gearing up for Christmas. So a lot of people are closing down, which comes, the festivities comes with a lot of drinking and partying and all this, and you see the drunk driving, the accidents go up, public service vehicles, etc. So that is why I picked October. Also, October 1, 2000 is the day I landed in rehab and started my recovery. I actually landed, I reported on October 1,
to rehab.
2000. So again,
25 years ago, wow.
Yes, it had some personal whatever for me.
Significant.
So when nobody picked it up, we said, okay, we'll do it. I'll do the T-shirts for 1 year. And if nobody does it, then we'll do it just with whatever means. And I saw, since my background is media, we'll just use the media, doesn't need a lot of funding, partner with stations and so on. And we've run it ever since. Yes.
25 years in, what would you say the progress has been like since the launch of this particular month? How has the support been like? How have the stakeholders brought in a lot of effort to ensure that this is a conversation that is really had across various spectra?
Well, what has happened for the National Alcohol Awareness Month, this is the 22nd edition, because we started in 2004, October 1, 2004. It is still the media. It is still the media. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And they also started in 2004. And we actually were on KBC, both of us on the same program. And they were asking me, why don't I pick another month and leave October? And I told them, no, we just stay in the same month, because there's a lot of problems to do with breast cancer also associated with alcohol use. So I said we actually complement each other. So basically from there, because of the media, we now do talks based on that in schools, institutions, etc., baraza style, things where we organize with chiefs. Anywhere we get an audience, but it is still, we have still not gotten government.
And why is that? What's the challenge with that? Is it something that you're open to in the near future?
We want, this thing needs everybody. And that's why we use the media, and the programs we do in the media is to empower you outside there who is watching, whether you are a student, a parent, whatever, the theme, for example, every year we have a different theme.
Yeah.
So that we empower. So we need
everybody on board.
Everybody on board, especially government, because we also talk about policy.
Yeah.
And policy, you see, is government.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Again, we need many people doing it so that you're having functions all over the place. Because how we do it, we concentrate functions during October, as many as possible. But then the theme now continues for the rest of the year, up to the following year, to September 30th of the following year.
Yeah.
So we have been still pleading government, whoever, take it. You see, we've even called it National Alcohol Awareness Month, so that it's taken over.
Yeah, it's a national initiative.
Yes, taken over and driven by somebody who has more resources than my NGO has.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, let's draw down to the year's theme, which is on alcoholism is treatable, stigma is the real disease. And you had a very specific clause right there on not curable. So we would love to talk more about that alcoholism is treatable and not curable. And for somebody who's battling it, may think, oh, then, you know, it's such a hard road ahead if it's not curable, but just treatable. Maybe you can tell us the difference and just how important it is for people to understand that it's not curable, but treatable.
Yeah, and I think, Cynthia, we've been saying this constantly in this program. It is not curable. It is a chronic, meaning no cure, disease. So you manage it a day at a time. What you simply get in rehab or any treatment program, so I'm just using the word rehab, rehabilitation loosely, is the tools to stay sober. So first of all, as I always say, given that if you want to treat alcoholism on a scale of 1 to 100, 80% is the person realizing that they have alcoholism. Once a person realizes that you have alcoholism, 80% of your problem is solved automatically. Even if you
just the knowledge,
just that knowledge that you have it. This is for the alcoholic. This is for the alcoholics people. Then the remaining 20% is divided in two, and this is what the program rehab does. The rehabilitation does, which is 10%. Why can't I drink like people who drink with no problems, quote unquote? That is 10%. Which you are taught in, for example, my brothers drink to date. One is a professor, one is an architect, and so on. You see, my late dad quit drinking, I think he was 90 years old, so because of age and so on and so forth. So why can't I drink like them, you know? And if you put it in reverse, people used to ask me, why can't you drink like your brothers? Why can't you drink? But then I would say an alcoholic would ask, because my brothers drink 3 beers, they are drunk. Okay? So I'm telling them, why are you drunk? You've just been here one. Why can't you drink like me, who has been drinking for 3 days, and I still appear to be the most sober person? So that 10% you are taught why you can't drink like the so-called normal quote-unquote drinkers, and the other 10% you are given tools that when you leave or finish the program, there are places, for example, you have to go, you know, staff parties, birthday parties, weddings, blah, 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 where people are using alcohol and other drugs, and you can't use. What happens if you get a relapse? Okay? How are you following your program on a day-to-day basis? That's the other 10%, the tools you are given. And then you come out, you link up with support groups and so on and so forth, and you then know what happens. Suppose whatever happened, like when my dad passed in January, for example, and something, you know, the disease cheats me, that if I take a drink, the pain will go away. Then another voice starts coming in and telling me, no, you know where that will end. It will add you more pain. But in case I override that and still drink, then I know who to call, what to do, etc.
Would you say that the fact that people may think alcoholism is curable, but it is not, is one of the biggest myths that people, or facts that people confuse for myths.
Yes, it is actually, again, for example, when you say you cannot just stop, and there are hundreds of myths around the alcoholism. Mtu hawezi kuacha tu hivyo. Lazima upunguze. Pole.
When do punguza?
Yes. Now, punguzaring,
yeah.
so that you say, okay, I've been drinking 10 beers.
Yeah.
Today, let me now know, or 9 or 8. Means you have breaks. And what I've been saying, remember, it is the 40-foot fully loaded trailer with no brakes. And those brakes will never come back.
Yeah.
In fact, that is why I use that example. If it was curable, it means your brakes would come back.
Yeah.
And what does curable mean in terms of alcoholism? It means you can drink safely, like the others who's, if he says it's 1 beer, it's 1. If he says it's none, even if you are at a function where it is free, it is none.
Yeah, it's none.
And that means your brakes are back. The brakes will never come back. So your only way out is to stop. And that's what rehab shows you. Why, first of all, you should stop. You can drink, yes, but you can never drink safely. Every time you drink, 99.9% you'll end in a mess. And you'll say you've gone for 1, but once you take that 1, the alcohol will decide whether it's 1 week, 1 crate, you have no control. That's what we mean by loss of control. So people need to know, by the time you are reaching this stage, you have actually drank enough for yourself plus your children's children.
And the generation to come.
So stop. There's no loss. You've already drank your share.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the second half of this theme is that stigma is the real disease. And this is also one of perhaps the biggest stumbling block for an individual that is battling alcoholism, that people may always sometimes deem them as losers, as people who've got no target, they have no vision in life. There's a huge judgmental line that has been drawn on these people. Why was it important for you to include this in this year's theme?
Because stigma, out of the barriers for somebody to get help, stigma is the biggest. Even the alcoholic, first the family, the people around, friends, employers, teachers, nobody wants to go to that word, alcoholism or addiction. Nobody wants, so, and the alcoholic is also busy there because the alcoholic, what I call flavors of the week, what is commonly called, as you hear people saying, denial. Flavors of the week. I am drinking because, and so it is never my fault. So the alcoholic is always, I'm drinking because of something or someone. And that flavor depends on who I'm talking to. So if it's somebody who knows, let's say my late mom, then I'll say it's my dad. If somebody who knows both of them, I'll say it's my wife. If somebody who knows all 3 of them, my boss or the headmaster or the weather or George Bush invaded Iraq and I love Iraqis. It can get that ridiculous. In other words, it's never my fault. And why we don't want to go there? It is because of the stigma surrounding alcoholism is huge. It is so huge. Loser, as you were saying, mutumjinga, analala kwa mtaro. There was some survey done in the US many years ago. All these conditions. Alcoholics ranked under pedophiles. Pedophiles had more respect than alcoholics.
Interesting.
It is that bad. In ranking of all, they picked a lot of all these issues, corruption, thief, adulterer, and so on, coming right down to pedophile. Alcoholic was still several ranks below a pedophile. And you see, because people are then, because of that stigma, buy into whatever I'm saying. So if I'm saying I was sacked because my employer, like when I quit post office, I said the employer doesn't like laws. And I copied the letter. So my dad gets me another job. And then I get fired. So I come with another excuse. And since he's buying into that excuse. Everybody always buys into the whatever flavor of the week, you know, and this is how alcoholics we manipulate, and that's how we keep drinking continuously. So, because they don't want to, you know, people are saying, no, your son is alcoholic. No, my mom is there. No, David, you know, is very sensitive. Let's just get, you know, he can't stand, you know, he's more artistic than his brothers. You know, nobody wants, and here are people coming and telling you point blank, I have somebody in my family who is in recovery or who has the same symptoms. We're trying to get to rehab exactly like your son or husband or whoever. But no, hiyo ni yako. Wachana na mi. Wachana na mimi. So, because of that, alcoholics are dying, needless deaths, getting paralyzed, killing other people, drunk driving and so on and so forth. And even just, there's some work we do for the police in terms of counseling. And you're always seeing these cases of a policeman comes and shoots his boss.
Yeah.
And when you check, he's alcoholic. If this had been treated, the people are in a bar, and somebody, and he comes and he shoots the wife or the spouse or the girlfriend and whatever. And all these are preventable deaths or injuries or somebody ending up paralyzed for life. Yeah. You see, because of drunk driving. Or the person doesn't die, but you plowed into a crowd of people killing 20, 30, 40 people, or you are driving a matatu or other public service vehicle and you crash the vehicle simply because you are drunk. Yeah. Yeah. Alcoholic.
Right. And just to understand, from where you sit, do you feel that stigma is something that as a society we can authoritatively deal with and just end it once and for all?
Yes. Yes. One of the hashtags for the goinghome.com trust is, or rather taglines, is only our stories will set us free. And this is what we have in. How do you fight stigma? Let people, how have we fought stigma, for example, around things like HIV? Yeah. People like Assumpta Agura came out years ago when people are talking about once you have HIV, you're going to die.
You're dead, yeah.
Assumpta Agura is still alive, and she started doing this before when I was still drinking. So when you have people talking, even whether, again, where are you going to tell these stories? The biggest audience is media, followed by churches, mosques, and so on, where there are big gatherings, of which media is the biggest dispenser, where somebody can sit, like right now, tens of thousands of people are probably watching this program right now. So if you come and you have blurred my face, Peter, not his real name, you're actually adding to the stigma. So there's a lot of people who are recovering alcoholics who would like to come out and talk. But if you look at the number of us who are talking, we're very few. Are we even more than 100? And it's, you know, Anmadu, you know, the same Boniface Dirangu, all these. And these are guys of my time. 2000, 2001, 2000, let's say up to 2005, Seth Okech, Where are the very few new faces? Why? Because of the stigma. People come back and say, I saw you, I looked for help, because this is what we're saying with these stories. This is a disease. It's like somebody comes to talk about broken leg, you see an orthopedic surgeon, or you need heart issues, or kidney issues, breast cancer, whatever it is, you see? So, but this alcoholism, because of the stigma, is hidden. And where it is hidden, the myths flourish. That's why even my parents, you see, when they were trying to get me help, after trying everything, and somebody now comes up with the witch doctor story as an option, okay? They say, okay, because there's nothing else to try, everything else they've tried is not working, and myths flourish where stigma is, because where stigma is, ignorance. And ignorance, I always tell people, if I call you ignorant, I'm not saying you are stupid. Ignorance simply means you don't know. You are ignorant of the facts, or you are unaware of the facts. And stigma keeps people ignorant. So if we could have people coming out, okay, and coming out all over in your church, even if you are scared of media, go in your neighborhood where you stay. There's the Nyumba Kumi. Just talk to guys in your estate. Because where you are fearing that half that 10% of that estate, they are alcoholics and they don't know what to do. Talk in your church, talk in your mosque, before you expand. Talk even to friends, talk even to somebody. If you see somebody who's having the same problem, go to them, talk to them. That's why I always say, when I'm trying to help people help themselves, I want, when you have helped yourself from the information, you are now moving from ignorance to awareness. When somebody comes, that where did you take your son or daughter or father or mother or auntie? Don't say, let me give you Dave Ogot's number. Say, when can I come for tea? I explain to you how you are going to help your person help themselves. You see?
And I love that you've mentioned about churches and mosques.
Yes.
Because I believe this is one of those platforms who can really play a critical role as well in terms of dealing with people that are struggling with alcoholism. And so are you able to narrow down to just what sort of role religious institutions can play in the advancement of the fight against alcoholism?
This station, and by extension, this church, is the first in the history of Kenyan media to have a regular program on alcoholism and other drug use, abuse, policy, etc. It is the first one. Okay? Now, why is this? Other non-faith-based institutions, they have advertisers, for example, of alcohol, and they still confuse. You hear responsible drinking. There's nothing like alcoholism. If people like Dave Ogot drank responsibly. So such stations would be asked, do you want the revenue you get from advertisement, or do you want the idiots coming to associate their problems with our product, which actually has no problem if you drink it responsibly, quote unquote. So the clergy, even if you don't, faith-based, even if you don't have a TV station, a radio station, your church allow people to share. And it is very easy, because at least the ones I know, there is nobody who I know recovering, who is talking, who says he got sober by his own power or effort. All of us, including non-Christians, say it is because of their God. But I will not speak for them. I've said the ones I know, I will speak for myself. If it was not for God, what I used to call with my drinking buddies, ujuzi, tukona ujuzi. Look at so-and-so when we see them in the album, the obituary pages in the newspaper. We used to call it the album. Angalia umjinga. So I was telling him not to do X, Y, Z. As we have ujuzi. We call for a round pour for the ancestors plus him, we continue. But when I got to rehab, even how I got to rehab, nobody can tell me I got sober because of anything unless ni Mungu. So there's a very big role, church, mosque, etc. Let people talk there, because in that audience, there's 10 to 15% going through this problem. In that audience, congregation, they are going to go and spread the word, which is how we spread even the word of God, through the church, for example, or the mosque. So that is a very big role. How can they be trained, the clergy? Okay? So that, we need this to be shouted from the rooftops. Okay? This is and this is how you are going to stigmatize. There are clergy who are recovering.
Yeah.
We have had very senior people in this country who are alcoholic and in recovery. We have had very senior people in this country who have publicly said they have stopped taking alcohol. And you don't stop something if it is not causing you problem. And that is why I always say from the top to the bottom, this problem is there.
Yeah.
So clergy have a fundamental, in fact, it should be a calling, so that even some of these who are in recovery, who we know, because we met in various forums, including rehabs, come out and talk from that platform. I, as a rehab pastor so-and-so, or imam so-and-so, you see?
Yeah.
So there's a very big role for them to play. And because the congregation will now take this and internalize and stop hiding, then it spreads. You see? So if it is attacked
from various angles,
from all the angles, the alcoholic, so that we not normalize, but destigmatize, so that we don't wait till now, literally this person, and remember the previous team which has just finished, declare it a disability. The person now is totally useless because of the alcohol. You are now just, you know, whenever we were having family meetings, give David 200 bob to go and drink. There's nothing Yamana he can contribute to this discussion. We've tried everything, it has failed. Mzee has prayed to God to call him, he rests. So that we also rest, let us wait for God to answer the prayer. So that you have now, you know, what can we do? Huyu tu ako tu hivyo. Si unamjua tu. Tunangoja tu akufe. Amwite. Why wait to that stage? If we can destigmatize, alcoholism symptoms are known, you can catch this very early while the person is still the so-called functioning. Functioning simply means you've not got to the stage of now being fired and what, you know, but you're at the stage of people are telling you, hey boss, you need to be punguzaring. I think you are drinking a bit too much. So that it's picked up at the beginning. If somebody has a problem with teeth, you will tell him, go to the dentist. Your eyes are bad, somebody tells you, go to optician. We want, how do we get, oh, this is alcoholism, even where the alcoholic themselves will come and say, please, I think I need help. Again, coming back to church, for example, you can set up in the church a place where people can go. So somebody has come and talked, there was some sermon on this, and then you are told, if you have, please go and see Pastor so-and-so or so-and-so, or go to this room, okay? And you can get assistance. As far as I know, even here for this station, the church is planning to set up a room. So all these calls we've been getting, and as I told you, there's some young man who wants to come on. He started his recovery program from watching this program, and he actually wants to,
which is incredible,
to come. There's another one I think you saw it posted, but that one we had helped long ago. He also wants to come and share. So instead of them coming to my office, we want right here. You public. Come, there's a place you can come, even not for the program, because now you know, and come, even if you're of this congregation or you're not of this congregation, you come and start getting the assistance you need. Yes.
Okay. Now, let's talk about policies, because one of the things you mentioned was just how government can come in, especially with policy and resources. Now, we had some proposed regulations and policies, I'll sample just a few of them very quickly. From NACADA, which was one, raising the legal drinking age from 18 to 21. We had the banning alcohol sales in supermarkets and through online deliveries. We had restricting alcohol advertisements, including banning celebrity endorsements, enforcing stricter zoning laws to prevent bars from operating too close to schools and to residential areas. So these are just some of the proposals that they had tabled in terms of reducing the impact as well as expanding the conversation on just alcoholism and how much of an issue it is in Kenya. Would you categorize this, or at least some of these proposals, as unrealistic? Because the sort of backlash we've seen from celebrities who do endorse alcohol advertisements is that, you know, this is how we earn income. You want to take it away from us. And so where would you place some of these proposals?
Now, you see, for celebrities, what I can say, you are like a role model, okay? What are you role modeling? So, for example, you are a musician. Your music is probably being listened to by kids, not probably. It is being listened to from even 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. Now so they look up to you. When I grow up, I want to be like.
Yeah.
So one, your lyrics. Okay? Though music again is very complicated, I always say don't shoot the messenger. If people are singing about certain things, we need to interrogate why. Yeah. Is there a proliferation of songs on topic X? But when you now go endorsing a mood-altering drug capable of causing addiction, so are we going to endorse bangi? Are we going to endorse tobacco? For example, because bangi is illegal, so let's go to tobacco. The other day, you saw people coming out, some proposed restrictions on tobacco. They came out saying it's a business. It's what? This is unfair, blah, blah, blah. Tobacco kills more people worldwide every year than alcohol, other drugs, legal and illegal, HIV-related, road crashes, blah, 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 combined. So why then wouldn't the bangi people also come out and say, you know, this is unfair, it's a biashara? You see? So some of these pushback is obvious. I even saw an MD of one of the breweries coming out to say it's business. No, it might be business, yes. Then why do we have restrictions? Why is it always the prices of taxes and all these are raised? They are raised so that it is not so cheap that people just drink it adarani, if I can use that word, okay? So, of course, there would be pushback. If somebody makes coffins for a living, he's not going to support a policy saying we should all now do cremation. Yeah. Obviously, he's not going to support. So the mosquito cannot be invited to a policy-making workshop to see how to fight or eradicate malaria. You cannot, because obviously what is going to come in is looking at their point of view. So celebrity endorsements, they should look to themselves and really see morally.
Is that a policy you think should take effect? Is that a policy you think should take effect?
No, you see, endorsements is up to the person. Okay? Yeah. To sit, because alcohol is legal. And this is where sometimes it becomes tricky. You see even the advertisements, okay? Advertisements were banned for tobacco, for example. Even the tobacco manufacturing companies, on their own vehicles, transporting, you no longer see billboards for tobacco. You no longer see, even on their own vehicles, they cannot paint their brands because of what I've just talked about. Tobacco, if used as the manufacturer states, it should ultimately kill you. Okay? But alcohol is only 10 to 15%. However, the regulations for everybody is because alcohol can make everybody, including those who are not in the percentage for alcoholism addiction, drunk. And when you are drunk, you drive or do other things or shoot your boss or kill your spouse and so on and so forth when you are not in your senses. Okay? And that is why it has to be regulated, because it is a drug which alters mood, and in that altered mood you can literally do the unthinkable. So it has to be regulated. Also the age of consumption. That is why. And again, coming back to tobacco, is there right age, you know, where you can say, okay, you are over 18, you're over 21. Tobacco at any age, if you use it as prescribed, should kill you. But for alcohol, there are reasons, valid scientific reasons, for increasing the drinking age from 18 to 21. But then the pushback is coming because, again, when you have something like this, emotive, even just talking about alcohol is emotive before you go anywhere. So when you are now saying somebody at 18 can vote for the president, etc. Somebody at 18 can join the army or police and die for the country. Somebody at 18 can get married and have children and so start a family. Somebody at 18, you are saying, is an adult. But if I can die for my country,
why can't I?
I can't drink beer. You're not making sense.
Right.
So it should be explained why. And countries, for example, like America, went from 18 to 21. And there was backlash. And they came back to 18. And then the problems resumed. So they went back to 21. Other countries, for example, in Europe, you have kids even 10 years old having a bit of wine with meals because the alcohol consumption culture dates back. And culture means how do you drink? Even us as Africans, we had a culture. Who could drink? At what age? And even when you are drinking, how to drink. So there was a way if you drink it was frowned upon, it would not be allowed, you would be censored. And it was even like wazes, sana. And when it came, so even where you are finding people are drinking like busa with those long straws. The younger people who are allowed to drink, who had just got married, would sit at the edge of the group. As you come to the center, the older you, the nearer you get to the center, because it's seen the young person and told something about his wife, and he wants to immediately jump up and run off. And if he's sitting in the center, he'll disrupt. So, and then again, it was seasonal. And alcohol was not sold. You see? So it was brewed for, harvest, certain celebrations. You drink it, there's always drunk, and it's gone. It was not sold. It was not commercial. So all this commercialization, etc., has also brought problems. But biologically, your brain is fully developed at 21, around. Now, alcohol affects judgment. A young person is learning how to have good judgment, but oftentimes is impulsive and has what I can call poor judgment in a lot of things, simply because you don't have the experience. The good judgment often comes from the experience. Now, and you're being taught by the adults who have also got it from the experience. So it is like adding poor judgment of being young with the poor judgment which comes from consuming a mood-altering drug. So it's like poor judgment squared. But the major thing is that brain development. Alcohol kills brain cells which will never come back, even if you take a teaspoon. And here we are talking about ethanol. Even if you take a teaspoon. But the logic of a human being is, since I have millions and millions and millions and millions of brain cells, what is the problem of killing a few million or thousand every time I drink?
Yeah.
So when you are interfering with that, you are also interfering with your brain development.
Yeah.
And that is why I really support that one proposal of increasing, but they should do the awareness. You see, when we talk about public participation, public participation is not necessarily putting people together in a room. It is having a program, again media, again in the church, where you are saying, you are discussing, NACADA is proposing this, and NACADA itself should also go to churches, Ministry of Health should go to the media, so that you get people to buy into, and people will only buy into an idea if they understand it. Because as it stands now, if I can die for my country,
why can't I
drink
beer?
Yes.
All right, Ogot, we're out of time, so I'd love you to just have a minute to wrap it up from your end on this crucial month of the National Alcohol Awareness Month. What are some of the activities we should be partaking this month, or at least also for the next 1 year till 30th of September 2026, in a minute as we wrap it up?
So the theme is, alcoholism is treatable, stigma is the disease. Let us fight stigma. How do we fight stigma? Get alcoholics, especially recovering, to talk, wherever that space is. Many times I joke that I will one day just start talking on the street, like the street preachers, at bus stops, at anywhere. We need this topic if you are a headmaster or a headmistress. Can you organize events in the school? Can you organize people to come and talk, not necessarily recovering addicts, but people who can come and talk about alcoholism, family members, etc. Can we talk everybody? Can we talk TV stations? Can you look for people, churches? Can you invite? Can you set up programs during this month specifically for the youth in your church, the kids in your church, mosques, etc. Can all of us, can even you just talk to your neighbor who you have seen and you know that their person has a problem with alcoholism? Can you share your story with them, even if it's just your neighbor, even if it's just your colleague at work, that this friend of ours, we need to help them because I am recovering, or in our family so-and-so is recovering, or a friend of mine, or a relative. Can we all destigmatize this disease this month specifically by sharing our stories with somebody, or sharing someone else's? Share my story, share Anmadu's story, Boniface Dirangu, Seto Kech, whoever story. Out there are links. Send them a link with this program and so on. But let all of us talk about it. And if you are in an alcoholic, you have watched this program, contact the station, post something. If you are a recovering alcoholic, post something on EBN's comment section. Just share your story on our social media platforms. But let's get these stories out, because again, only our stories will set us free.
All right. Incredible rallying call right there from David Ogot this morning, even as we celebrate the National Alcohol Awareness Month for Kenya. That is October. By the way, he's the founder of this particular initiative, and he's also a recovering alcoholic. Thank you very much for your time this morning. And on this conversation, if you'd love to be part of it yet again, you can rewatch it across our feedback lines. You can reach us out as well on our streaming platforms and even our contact lines, which are across all social media platforms, just for us to be able to get in touch with you and see how this journey ahead will look like. Thank you for watching this morning. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Do enjoy the rest of your broadcast and your programming. Have a wonderful Wednesday.